All right, hello. So this is all about opening the kind of the inside of the hips in here. And the main thing when it comes to flexibility is move for your flexibility and not mine. So if you want to go further than me, feel free. If I'm going too far, pull it back. We start moving dynamically, meaning we're moving just to start to kind of warm the muscles up, and then we go for holds. If you're doing this from completely cold, don't necessarily go into your deepest stretch. So we'll just go into like more gentle. So let's go. So the first one's open and close the gate. So on your feet, let me just amend this. So it's just that you are going to lift one knee up, open to the side, and then come back through the middle. And then you're switching to the other side, open, and then close. So that's it, just opening and closing. So just feeling a little bit of warming of the hips to pick up the knee and open it to the side, and then keep repeating side to side. Everything is going to be 1 minute. So try and keep the knee high as you move. Notice any imbalances side to side. And you might get a few little clicks and creaks in here, and that is okay. The focus here isn't like balance. So if you ever do need something to hold on to for a bit of balance or to get more out of the move, then feel free. All right, there's no rest between any exercise. We're just going straight from one to the next. So the next one, you go for a dynamic side lunge. So take your feet wide, and you're just going to push your hips back and move from side to side, keeping the hips pushing backwards. So the thing with this one, if you need to scale it back a little bit, it's feet closer together. And then if you're wanting a little bit more, it's feet wider apart. So really push your knee out, push your hips back, trying to keep your spine long. So avoiding the temptation to round through your back. As you move through, if you feel you want to go a little bit deeper into the stretch, then feel free to put one hand down to the floor. So just dropping the hips a little bit lower, or maybe it's both hands down to the floor. But again, you're just kind of warming up the hips and just moving through at the moment. I've still got another 10 seconds to go. I'm just going to quickly change the angle here because I know it's going to get a little bit lower. So all we're going to do is add a twist. So from here, you're going to twist in towards your leg, and then switch sides, land the hand, and twist towards the leg. So what you're going to feel here is the stretch in the extended leg as you twist away from it. And if there's too much of one hand on the floor, you just step up a little bit higher, bring the hand on the opposite knee, and twist away from there. Again, that motion as you pull away is going to pull into the inside of this inner thigh and the inside of your hip. So again, move for your range, move for your flexibility, wider legs if you're feeling a bit warmer and ready to. So still got about 10 more seconds, and then we're going to go into the hold. So we're just going to hold the stretch from either side. And it's a 1 minute hold. So it's up to you if you want to start maybe a little bit higher. And then as you go through, if you want to go a little bit lower. If you feel, you're kind of looking for that point where it's a bit uncomfortable, but you're not in pain and you can hold it. So if you're feeling like, oh my God, it's so much pain, I want to get out of it already, you've still got 40 seconds to go. So come up higher, maybe close your feet a little bit more. Again, stretching it's not easy, but it shouldn't be ever painful. So yeah, coming to the point that feels right in your body today. It's all about the feel today. So it might be that last week you were able to go a little bit more, maybe you're a little bit tighter the next week, so you don't go quite as far. So another 15 seconds to go. So you really want to use your breathing. Breathe in. And as you exhale, think of trying to relax in a little bit more. So then we switch over to the other side. So the side, again, have a feel on this side. So the ideal goal would be that we're completely even right and left. But the realistic is that we're not. So again, get a feel for it, get that pull, get that stretch. Feel if you want to come lower. Feel if you want to come higher or lower. Or wider, sorry. And just hold. Keeping a slow breath. And it might be that you still want to add a little bit of like movement, like keeping it a little dynamic. So maybe there's little areas of tightness you just want to move through a little bit. There's nothing to stop you doing that. If you go through this workout once, definitely I'd say it's more likely that you're going to move. If you go through it the second time through, like back to back, that's where I'd recommend more holding, because that's when you can really find extra length in your muscles. Right, coming into a dynamic Hindi squat. So, come up to a squat. I'm going to slightly turn to the side so you don't get a crotch shot. Elbows in between the knees. You're just going to press your knees out and then in. Push your knees out and then in. And then it depends on your flexibility, how low you go. Eventually, it'll be great if we can get ourselves sitting all the way down to the heels. If you're not there now, don't force it. Come higher. If you're higher, you're going to find your legs are probably going to burn with 1 minute doing this. So feel free to stand up, have a little shake off your legs, and then get back in again when you're ready. Just pressing out on the knees, feeling the stretch. Same thing again, kind of feeling it in the inside hip and right on the inner thigh into the inside hip. You might also feel this in your calves, so the back of the leg, and the hamstrings, which is the upper bit, the back of the leg, so in here and here. So depending where you're tight will be where you feel this most. And now we're just going to hold this. Hold. I like to push my knuckles towards one another to really get extra opening. Same again though, it's your range, it's your flexibility to go to wherever you are. And the Hindi squat, if you start to feel it's burning somewhere, sometimes we feel it burning in the fronts of the legs, just be mindful of that. It's okay. It just means somewhere is usually a little bit tight. As we improve our flexibility, we can hold longer. But the Hindi squat is a position we should be able to get in. So don't worry if you're not there yet. But it's something we should be able to get in. We should be able to hold for a substantial amount of time. And it's just sadly because we live in like a westernized country where we've got like these sofas, as you can see behind me, these sofas, and like toilets and chairs and everything. We're used to sitting at 90, not going below there. And just looking to get to the point where we can get back into our full range of movement. One thing I should have said is be more careful of your posture. Notice if you slumped over like Gollum and really try and lift and lengthen, even if that means lifting a little bit higher. Okay, we get to come down. So you're looking for a dynamic 90-90 stretch with the right leg forward, left leg back. So you're looking for the front shin parallel to front of the mat, other shin parallel to the side of your mat if you've got a mat. And you're just going to lean over the front leg and then lean back over the back leg. So leaning forward and leaning back. So again, just dynamically getting into this dynamic, meaning we're moving. So you should feel the stretch change from the right bum, the bum cheek in the back of the hip, and then the left inside hip here. So just moving through. And again, you're in control of the range. So if you want to stay a little bit higher, you stay a little bit higher. If it feels good to press in deeper, then do. But you're looking, as you push back here, see how my knee naturally lifts off? You can just try and keep it as close to the floor as you can, and both butt cheeks. And again, just something to work towards and be mindful of our flexibility. So I've got a 1 minute hold. So come forwards. And then the next thing to do, I would say, is move a little bit across right and left. So move a little bit and then see where the point is that you're like, whoa, that catches in the butt. Hold there. Just breathe and hold. And then you're looking to, again, go higher. If it's too intense, you can always come down to your forearms. If you want a little bit more, you might be able to lie all the way flat. Again, unless you've come back from something like, I don't know, a run or done a big workout and you're now super, super warm, or you might be able to get really deep into the stretches, then the chances are, if you're just doing it, say, at the end of a working day, you might need to be a little bit higher, and that is fine. In fact, that is the goal. You don't want to do deep, intense stretches without being really warm. So just holding, just breathing. And then we're going to come up and lean back, lean back, lean back. So again, my knee naturally pops up. So I'm consciously working to like press it down closer to the floor, trying to get both knees on the floor and working towards getting both butt cheeks. I can confirm I've got at least this much space underneath my butt. You might be able to get it flat down. Again, working for your range, feeling that pull. If you feel it a little bit too much, Just slide this knee in a little bit closer to the heel, and that should take away some of the intensity. If not, you're trying to keep it with knee in line with the hip, other knee in line with the other hip, 90 degree at both knee. And if you're thinking like, oh no, I barely feel it, I've got both knees down, both butt cheeks down, I want a little bit more, then come down on your forearms and then you'll get a more intense stretch. This is too much for me, so I'm going to stay up here. Breathe in. And we'll do that all on the other side. So going back to the dynamic stretch, put the left leg forward. So find that 90 degree at both knees. Knees are extending out in line with the hips. Shins are parallel. If you were to have a box around you, they're parallel to that. And you're leaning forward over the front leg and leaning back over the back leg. Same thing, and when you're comparing like left and right, just feel if you notice a difference. If one side's a bit tighter, if one side's a bit more uncomfortable. Notice if you can like visibly see that you can move a bit deeper on one side than the other. So another 15 seconds or so until we hold. And we're going to hold it forwards at the front. So coming forwards, and again, I would just take a little moment to turn the chest over the knee, over the middle of the shin, or over towards the heel, and just take a moment moving side to side a little bit. And then the point for you that feels the best, that's the one you want to hold on. Higher, lower, forearms lying flat, whatever feels good. And if you do feel the muscle relax, so we're holding quite a long time, and the goal is that you feel it start a bit uncomfortable, and then the longer you hold, you start to feel it switch off a little bit, and then it becomes more comfortable. So if you feel that, hopefully it'll be around about now. You will then take another breath in, and as you breathe out, so you can go just a little bit further into the stretch, and that's where you're developing the flexibility. And then we're going to come back and hold it at the back. So you allow your chest and shoulders to turn a little bit. You're anchoring both knees towards the floor. Your left butt cheek is working towards the floor. This is cool, actually. Like I've definitely noticed the difference. This knee isn't popping up as much on this side for me, and my butt cheek is a little bit closer to the floor. So that's where I need to work on that little bit of imbalance. And same thing again, exact thing I said. So when it gets to about 15 seconds left on the timer, that's where you're hoping the stretch is starting to ease off a little bit. That's where you go a little bit further, maybe twist a little bit more, or maybe come on down to the forearms if that's for you and if that's for you today. It's not for me. By coming to seated star pose, so we're just going to bring the soles of the feet together, and then it's up to you kind of how close you get the heels into the bum. That would depend on your flexibility. And then just try and pick up the hips a little bit and scoop them slightly back, so that's going to help you keep a long lower back in the posture. So if you have the hips close to you, you'll find your back will be rounding more. If you just pick up the hips, scoop them back a bit, you'll find your lower back will lengthen out a little bit. And then this is up to you. You can either like dynamically press down through the knees and leaning forwards, or you might put your hands behind and you can press down and up, or potentially just hold it and just hold. And that's any position. Again, it's very individual when it comes to flexibility. I really enjoy this one. I'm gradually working to get my knees closer to the floor. I think I'm not there yet, but they used to be up here. So it's getting there. Flexibility is a slow work in progress. Right, next one's wide leg stick pose. So you're just going to roll down onto your back. And then this again will depend on your flexibility. So you just open the knees to the side. And then you might be able to rest your elbows down to support on the lower leg. You might want to just gently press down onto the legs to open up hips a little bit more. And then depending on your flexibility, maybe you can extend the legs out to the side. And that could be feet flexed or feet pointed. And then again, if you're really flexible, if you're really quite mobile through the hips, and if you want extra, and again, if you're feeling warm enough for it, you can also grab the foot or peace rings around the big toe and open the legs a little bit wider. I can sometimes do this, and today it's not feeling good, so I'm going to go to another option. But here, just really try and just think, exhale and just relax, soften, and then just allow the weight of your legs to go heavy to pull on the hips. Just let gravity do its thing. And then we finish with an extended star pose, so that just means we're lying on our backs, soles of the feet together. Cup your elbows over your head. We're going to finish here. Just lift your head and tuck the chin slightly so your neck's really long. If you want to move around a little bit, just to play with the opening of the hips. And then we're just going to settle and stay. So this whole workout, this whole kind of mobility stretch of the hips, like I say, if you've done it after exercise and you're feeling really warm, you'll notice you'll be more flexible. If you've not been really warm and you're coming over fresh, then you'll be less flexible. If you've got the time and you want to just start this again and go for round 2, then do. And then when you go on round 2, you should notice you can press into it a little bit more. And if not, this is perfect. Adding this into your routine is going to really help open your hips. That is us done. So just grab your thighs around your back a little bit, rock yourself up. I recommend just going for a little bit of movement to just help your hips, because they're just a bit like when you exercise and you work out, you do a cool down, just a little bit of movement to help free them up a little bit. But well done.